Barnes getting a decent purchase there and a nice pocket hit.
That's much better.
Now working the crowd as well. She's a quick learner. It definitely helps to have this crowd on your side. You don't want them against you.
Here we go. This is just perfect textbook. This is how she won the World Cup. Posted up, right on target, 10 in the pit.
Well, what's Vim going to give us this time? One of the laziest strikes in the history of the World 10-pin Masters to open up with. Let's see if he can get a cleaner pocket hit here. Well, he did get a cleaner pocket hit, but this time he takes 9. Weird game this sometimes.
Looked like a much better shot, really. Got it a little bit left to target, perhaps, but I expected that first shot to loosen him up a little bit too, and he'll get into his rhythm here pretty quick.
Does it play in your mind as a bowler that, you know, it's a world-class field, anybody can beat anybody here, and it's the best of 2? You can't afford a slip or a stumble or a slow start. It must mess with your mind a little bit.
Yeah, mistakes like that early on are awfully tough to recover from, given the talent of the field and the fact that the format's pretty short.
This is the first round match between Linda Barnes and Wim van der Veen. Barnes made a less than sure start and is now attempting to get things back on track. Commentary comes from Chris Barnes and Nick Halling.
She looked a little surprised at that.
It was looking all right, wasn't it? And then it just seemed to react badly.
That balance is good, looked like online. And right here, she thought it was pretty good too. And this ball turned over a lot harder than the last shot.
Well, so far, your wife's World 10-pin Masters is turning into a magical mystery tour.
Well, that's 3 frames I imagine she'd like to have back, and that's another mistake that she probably couldn't afford to make by only getting 1 pin there.
Yeah, low pin count as well. 5 on the first one, just taking 1 out of 5 as well. In a tight match, that could come back to haunt Linda Barnes. She's giving us a bit of everything at the moment. 1 strike and 2 opens. 1 down the gutter. And if you're Wim van der Veen in this situation, you've just got to think to yourself, let's make some hay. Let's get after this. Let's find some strikes. If your opponent's having a tough time, build up a head of steam early. That'll help.
That right there is about as good as it gets, and exactly what you want to do when your opponent struggles early. You can put your foot on their throat right in the beginning and never let them up. It'll surely work to your advantage. This one's just perfect. Splits the 8-9. 10 in the pit. There's nothing lazy about that shot.
No, it was absolutely spot on. So, oh, where was that aimed? Not at us, I hope. One of the bowlers in the competitors area, just on the recipient. And Linda's not online. She's lucky to get away with 9 there because that was right up high on the head pin.
You'll watch this shot. She comes off this one really quickly. Right foot's off of it. She pulled it up from the very beginning, knew it, and was probably pretty fortunate to get 9.
You know, I'm speculating, Chris, as she goes for the spare ball, but I know she came back from that gutter ball with a strike, but I just wonder if that unsettled her rhythm a little bit mentally.
I think it's pretty unsettling to anyone. She did rebound pretty quickly, but you're still behind, and Wim is bowling awful well. He bowled well in practice, and she knew it was going to take in the 220s probably both games to have a chance to win this match.
Yeah, 2 opens, 1 strike, 1 spare. Stats like that tend not to win too many World 10-pin Masters matches, so Linda's got to start getting her game together, and fast. And if Wim here can just convert his strike into a double, he'll have a pretty useful lead early on. Well, he doesn't, and he's left himself the sleeper.
Being light twice, it might be tough for him to pick this up. This is a pretty good shot. Again, it gets a little bit left. It doesn't look like his leverage was quite as strong as it was on the shot before, and it let it get by his break point, maybe a couple of feet.
Not the easiest spare to make. Got to make sure that you get enough angle on that lead pin to kick out the pin that's obscured. That's why they call it the sleeper. They do get missed. If you get that lead pin contact wrong, pin will go one way, ball will go the other, and that pin at the back will be left standing.
Textbook conversion there. It does look pretty comfortable, and although he hasn't thrown a double yet, he certainly looks like he's in better rhythm than Linda, and she's going to have to get it going awfully fast here.
Yes, 30 pins the advantage. Wim will be happy enough as he's making a little adjustment there to his grip. But Wim will also know that it could have been a bit more than that. The way you get big scores in bowling is you put those X's together. You don't want a strike followed by a spare, followed by a strike, followed by a spare. You want to get strikes in bunches. Linda just wants a strike, and that's a much better hit.
Much better. She changed balls that time, went to a ball that goes a little bit longer and kicks a little bit more in the back. That seemed to give her a little bit more of the look she was looking for. She'd moved about 3 boards right here, got it up the lane, posted it up.
She's a showboater, your wife, isn't she? Look at this.
She didn't learn that from me.
Was she an actor in a previous life or something?
Nah, people just like her. See, that's why we balance out well.
Ah, right. You're the bad guy out there, are you? It's good cop, bad cop.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, here's Wim. And judging by what he's done so far, this will be a strike because he's opened up with a strike, then a spare. Follow that up with a strike, then a spare. Can he keep it going and pop in another strike here? No, he can't.
Pretty good effort there. Watch here, his balance at the foul line's much better. It's just a little bit inside of target. You could tell by his reaction he knew he needed a little bit of help for it to strike.
So that'll help whittle down some of that deficit as far as Linda Barnes is concerned. Anytime it gets up around 30, you don't want to see that growing. So Wim with a spare, we'll see that 30-pin lead reduced. Yes, 19 the advantage for the big Dutchman. Very early going. We're at the halfway stage of the first leg. So 19 adrift, Linda Barnes. Starting to settle down now after some early dramas. Can she convert this into a double? No, she's back on the headpin again, and she's lucky to get 9.
She's just a little bit anxious. It looks like she's never really got into a real good rhythm, and I think you nailed it on the head. That very first ball kind of set the tone a little bit, and she's been a little uncomfortable ever since.
Well, it was the footwork that caused that early problem, and you just wonder if mentally you're thinking where your feet are, you're not thinking about the ball.
Could be. She's had a lot of problems. A lot of the players have actually had some problems. The approaches are a little bit tacky, and she may have overcompensated a little bit. It actually looks like she's slipping a little bit at the foul line.
So neither player really generating any head of steam at the moment. We don't have a double. Linda has 2 strikes from her 6. Wim has 2 from his 5. They're both capable of a lot more. They're both struggling with the lane a little bit. We saw this in an earlier match with Guy Kaminsky and Thomas Lee Anderson. I mean, the struggles of these two aren't as bad as that. That was absolutely horrible, but it does show that this lane is proving tough for these competitors.
Yeah, the lane condition is fairly challenging for this, and it's provided more than enough challenge so far for all the competitors.
A strike from Wim restores his useful advantage. And good to see this crowd here at the Metrodome in Barnsley. They appreciate their bowling. They know when they're seeing world-class bowling, and they know when they're seeing players struggle as well. They're sympathetic, they're knowledgeable, they're appreciative, and they must be a joy to bowl in front of. Linda looking to get back on strike. This is turning out to be quite a tough baptism for Linda Barnes.
She struck a lot in the practice session. I think she's really surprised, but